Alien heartbeat detected. Mysterious pulse coming from deep space. An object racing toward Earth at over 130,000 miles per hour. And it's sending signals back home. Headlines everywhere. Social media explodes. Scientists divided. Harvard professor says it could be alien technology. NASA says calm down. December 19th, 2025. This thing passes closer to Earth than anything interstellar ever has. Which version do you believe? If you value documented space science and real astronomical investigation like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual using sources from the Astronomy and Astrophysics Journal's peer-reviewed paper published on September 26, 2025 by Tony Santana Rose and colleagues, which conducted Fourier analysis on time series, photometry using multiple ground-based telescopes including the Nordic Optical Telescope and the Joan Oro Telescope, and from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory's official orbital solution database, updated through December 2025 with 762 observations across a 60-day span. Now back to the information. Atlas survey catches a moving dot. Not unusual. They catch thousands. But this dot is different. Initial trajectory calculations come back strange. Hyperbolic orbit, not elliptical, not bound to the sun, moving at 221,000 kilometers per hour. Within hours, the Minor Planet Center gets precovery images. The Zwicky Transient Facility has this object on June 14th. Atlas itself caught it back on June 5th. Nobody noticed because it was crossing right in front of the Galactic Center's dense star fields. Too many stars. One more speck of light gets lost. It's a comet. Active comet. Interstellar comet. The third one ever confirmed visiting our solar system. 7 years after 1I Oumuamua. 6 years after 2I Borisov. The name drops. 3I Atlas. The I means interstellar. The 3 means third. Atlas for the survey that found it. Image shows a teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust. Nucleus hidden inside. Can't measure it directly. Coma too bright. Size estimates range wildly. Lower bound 440 meters across. Upper bound 5.6 kilometers. That's a factor of 10 uncertainty. Mass estimates even worse. Could be 33 billion tons if it's the bigger size. Could be far less. Multi-object spectrograph pulls chemical signatures. Water ice confirmed July 20th by Gemini South and NASA Infrared Telescope Facility. But something odd. Comet was already active back on May 7th when NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite caught it. 6.4 astronomical units from the Sun. That's far. Too far for water ice to sublimate effectively. Must be other volatiles. Carbon dioxide ice, maybe. Carbon monoxide. Substances that turn to gas at much greater distances. Telescope tracks the comet's proper motion during exposure. Standard stars, Feige 110 and Ross 640, used for flux calibration. Results come back. Spectrum shows reddish color. Spectral slope S prime equals 18.3 plus or minus 0.9% per 1,000 angstroms across 4,000 to 9,000 angstrom range. Slightly redder than D-type asteroids, redder than 1I Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. Matches trans-Neptunian objects, matches centaurs, dust grains several micrometers in radius, likely irradiated organic compounds, tholins. Joan Oro Telescope joins in. 0.8 meters, located in Catalan-Pyrenees. SDSS R prime band observations on July 4th, 6th, 13th, 16th, 17th, 19th. 2 cameras. MIA-2 on early dates, MIA-3 on later dates. All data gets calibrated against field stars from Atlas and APAS catalogs. Result, rotation period, 16.16 plus or minus 0.01 hours. Light curve amplitude approximately 0.3 magnitudes in July. Amplitude decreases from 0.3 to 0.2 throughout the month. Why? Nucleus getting more obscured as activity increases. More dust and gas in the coma, harder to see the solid body underneath, but that 16-hour period stays consistent. De La Fuente Marcos and colleagues. Different telescopes. Gran Telescopio Canarias again. Teide Observatory's 2-meter twin telescope. They get 16.79 plus or minus 0.23 hours. Close enough. Same period. Different analysis method. Period dispersion minimization versus phase dispersion minimization. Doesn't matter. Both methods converge on 16 to 17 hours. August 25th, Virgin I.O. Oldani and Italian astronomers analyze Hubble images. CASIS instrument data from Mars orbiters. Shape analysis of the coma. They calculate rotational North Pole orientation. 2 possibilities. Right ascension 154 degrees, declination plus 25 degrees. Or right ascension 334 degrees, declination minus 25 degrees. depends on which way the spin axis points. Either way, the comet rotates. Period nailed down, 16.16 hours. When it rotates away, we see less light. Brightness goes up, brightness goes down. 16.16 hours later, same spot comes around again. Brightness goes up. This isn't a heartbeat, this is rotation. Basic physics. Also, the guy who said One-Eye Oumuamua might be alien technology back in 2017, he writes on Medium, October 29th, 2025, perihelion day, closest approach to Sun. He calls it the acid test. Says, if 3. Atlas is natural comet, heating might break it apart. 770 watts per square meter hitting the surface. Could fragment, could evaporate. He suggests another possibility. Maybe it's a Trojan horse. Natural looking exterior, alien tech interior. Maybe it releases mini probes, maybe it maneuvers. Radial acceleration away from Sun, 135 kilometers per day squared. Transverse acceleration, 60 kilometers per day squared. Small deviations. About 10 times Earth's radius over a month. Not enough to change trajectory significantly, but measurable. Newton's third law. Every comet with significant activity shows this. 2, I. Borisov showed it. Halley's comet shows it. Completely expected for active comets. But Loeb frames it differently. He says if 3, Atlas, loses mass, through outgassing at this acceleration rate, it would need tremendous mass loss. Mentions momentum conservation. Suggests alternative explanations. Doesn't explicitly say alien propulsion. Leaves door open, asks questions. Raises eyebrows. He writes about periodic puffs, compares them to bloodstream of a heartbeat. Emphasizes less than 10% of light comes from nucleus. Most comes from coma. So brightness variations driven by coma activity, not nucleus rotation directly. Acknowledges it's highly unlikely, but doesn't dismiss it. Futurism covers it. Orbital Today covers it. Headlines multiply. 3I Atlas sending cosmic heartbeat. Harvard scientist revives alien tech debate. Mysterious interstellar object pulsing toward Earth. Montsec Observatory. Also B06 Monsini Observatory. They capture highest resolution images of jets, spiral structures, knots in coma, material launching from rotating vents on nucleus, not smooth uniform outflow, focused jets. They run spectroscopic analysis. Compare comet spectrum to Antarctic carbonaceous chondrites from NASA's collection. Closest match, metal-rich carbonaceous material, abundant water ice. Carbon dioxide ice sublimating inside 378 million kilometers from Sun. Oxidizing liquid percolates through porous interior. Reacts with metallic grains, with sulfides. Chemical reactions release energy, release gas, drive focused jets. Spiral patterns form when combined with rotation. DOI 10.4-8550/ARXIV.25111.19112. Title: Spectrophotometric evidence for a metal-bearing, carbonaceous, and pristine interstellar comet. 3I Atlas, not peer-reviewed yet, but data is there. Images show jets, spectra show composition. Team argues this is cryovolcanism, ice-based volcanic activity, similar to what happens on Saturn's moon Enceladus, on Jupiter's moon Europa, on Pluto, except 3. Atlas comes from another star system. Entire water ice surface layer appears to erupt. No protective dust mantle like solar system comets have. Makes global activation possible. ESA's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter. Color and stereo surface imaging system instrument. Cassis camera. Designed to photograph Mars' surface from few hundred kilometers away. Retasked to photograph distant comet, 30 million kilometers away during closest approach to Mars October 3rd. Images show fuzzy white dot moving across star field. Coma visible. Few thousand kilometers across. Tail not visible yet. Too dim. NASA maintains official position throughout. 3. Atlas is a comet. Natural comet. Active comet. Weird? Yes. Unusual? Definitely. Alien? No evidence. Agency statement emphasizes normal cometary behavior. Outgassing explains acceleration. Rotation explains brightness, variation. Cryovolcanism explains intense jets, all within natural explanations. No technosignatures detected, no radio signals, no structured emissions, no geometric patterns. No artificial materials. Equivalent to thousands of hours of high-definition video, no artificial signals found, no modulated broadcasts, no encrypted data streams, nothing suggesting technology. But 3I Atlas isn't typical. It's active much farther out. Highly volatile ices sublimating early, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, driving activity before water ice gets involved. Points to formation region beyond CO2 ice line and original star system. Colder formation zone. More distant from parent star. pristine material preserved for billions of years, possibly 3 billion years older than our solar system. Kinematic analysis by Astor Taylor and Daryl Seligman suggests trajectory points to thin disk of galaxy. Parent system had solar-like star, slightly subsolar metallicity. Galactic velocity components. U equals negative 51.233 kilometers per second. V equals negative 19.456. W equals positive 18.930. Radiant in Sagittarius, near galactic center direction. Results. Unusually high degree of negative polarization at small phase angles. Large percent of reflected light has oscillations oriented along Sun-Comet observer plane. Negative polarization similar to trans-Neptunian objects. Suggests coma made of mixture of icy and dark material. Carbonaceous content, metal grains, irradiated organics. About 203 million kilometers, just inside Mars orbit. Can't observe from Earth. Solar conjunction, comet behind Sun from our perspective, opposition geometry. But space-based coronagraphs catch it. SOHO-LASCO C3. Stereo mission, Punch constellation. Images show rapid brightening. Brightness scales inversely with distance to power of negative 7.5. CCOR1 resolves glow extending 300,000 kilometers. Carbon dioxide plume detected earlier by Spherex Space Observatory, August 8th through 12th, now even larger. October 30th, Astronomy Magazine reports perihelion passage. Comet survives intact, doesn't fragment, doesn't break apart. Acid test passed, natural comet explanation holds. First time astrometric measurements from spacecraft orbiting another planet submitted to Minor Planet Center database. ExoMars TGO data combined with Earth-based observations. Improves trajectory precision by factor of 10. Flight dynamics teams, science teams, instrument teams, all coordinate, challenges tackled. Spacecraft location at Mars accounted for. Fast orbit around Mars accounted for. Ephemeris precision increased. MPC accepts data officially. Amateur astronomers with small telescopes can attempt observations. Too faint for naked eye. Needs telescope. Apparent magnitude around 16th or 17th. Dark sky required, but possible. Helps characterize activity. Helps understand this visitor from another star. Light curve shape matches second-order sinusoidal fit, typical of rotating ellipsoidal body with uneven surface features. Combined effect of rotation plus localized jetting creates periodic signal. This happens on every active comet with asymmetric activity. Nothing unusual here except the comet comes from another star system. Momentum conservation requires mass loss, but mass loss is observed. Dust production rate estimated between 0.3 and 4.2 kilograms per second, slightly above what Bolin and colleagues reported in separate paper. Lower than typical Jupiter family comets, but comparable to distant comets exhibiting similar activity far from Sun, enough to produce measured acceleration, no propulsion system needed. Observed jets, spiral patterns, knots in coma, composition matching carbonaceous chondrites with metal content, rapid brightening near perihelion, global surface activation, all consistent with sublimation-driven cryovolcanism, similar to processes on icy bodies in our own solar system. Enceladus erupts water vapor and ice particles from tiger stripe fractures. Europa likely has subsurface ocean venting through cracks in ice shell. Pluto shows nitrogen ice sublimation creating atmospheric haze. Triton has nitrogen geysers. Comets from Kuiper Belt show analogous behavior. 3I Atlas fits this pattern. Different star system, same physics. But this assumes maximum diameter 5.6 kilometers. If actual diameter closer to minimum 440 meters, mass drops dramatically. Hubble can't resolve nucleus through coma. Size remains uncertain. Anomaly not confirmed. Viewing geometry matters. Phase angle during July observations was low. Comet nearly between Earth and Sun. Tail projected behind from our viewpoint. Difficult to see. As comet moved and phase angle increased, tail became visible. Multiple observers confirmed tail in late August and September. Initial appearance, not that anomalous, just geometry. Lobe suggests swarm of separate objects lagging behind. Objects not feeling same non-gravitational acceleration. Form sunward extension. Alternative explanation simpler. Dust grains of different sizes respond differently to radiation pressure. Larger grains lag. Smaller grains pushed faster. Creates fan of material. When viewed edge-on, fan appears as anti-tail pointing sunward. Comet R and Roland in 1957 showed famous anti-tail. Purely projection effect. 3I Atlas shows similar geometry. Not mysterious, not fragments, not separate objects, just dust dynamics and viewing angle. Atoms and molecules get excited by solar ultraviolet. Fluoresce at specific wavelengths. Emission lines dominate spectrum. Blue emission from carbon monoxide, from carbon. from other species, makes comet appear bluer, completely normal for active comet near perihelion, not evidence of anything artificial. Loeb says if jets don't point towards sun, or if timing seems too precise, starts looking less comet-like. But jets do point towards sun in many documented images. Active spots on nucleus face sunward when heated. Standard cometary behavior. Timing precise because rotation is precise, solid body rotating in space, no friction, no drag. Period stays constant. That's physics, not technology. Direction not tied to sun. Pattern could be deliberate signal. But observed pattern is tied to sun. Jets brighten when nucleus rotates active regions toward solar heating. Pattern matches natural cryovolcanic outgassing driven by insolation. No arbitrary pulsing detected. No non-solar orientation. No deliberate signal structure. We can't rule out something we can't imagine. But science doesn't work by imagining arbitrary, unknowable technologies. Science works by fitting observations to known physics. When observations fit known physics, no need for unknown technologies. Occam's razor. Simplest explanation that fits data is preferred. Natural comet fits data. Alien spacecraft doesn't add explanatory power, just adds complexity without evidence. Loeb maintains Loeb scale rating of 2 or higher for 3I Atlas. Scale measures likelihood of artificial origin. 0 means definitely natural. 10 means definitely artificial. 2 means low likelihood, but not dismissible. His position, persistent anomalies exist that won't be resolved. But which anomalies persist? Size uncertainty resolves when better nucleus measurements come. Will happen with continued observation. Color change explained by emission versus reflection. Already understood. Anti-tail explained by dust dynamics, known phenomenon. Non-gravitational acceleration explained by outgassing. Measured dust production matches. Jets explained by rotating active regions. Imaged directly. What persists? Article admits scientists say comet pulsing as it gets closer. Not actually threatening, not actually alien, just unusual. Charisma magazine covers it December 5th. Adds prophetic angle, claims heavens declaring God's glory, final day signs. Believers reminded creation preaching message, not scientific analysis, religious interpretation, personal belief, separate from astronomical facts. Harvard scientist says alien interstellar gardener seeded life on Earth. Loeb quoted suggesting ambitious gardener from earlier star could have used objects like 3I Atlas to impact life on Earth. Panspermia hypothesis. Life spreading through space via comets or asteroids. Scientifically plausible for simple organisms. Bacteria. Spores. Maybe. Deliberate seeding by advanced civilization. No evidence. Pure speculation. Brian Looney quoted. Astronomer. Maintains 3. I-Atlas shows classic characteristics of interstellar comet. Giant dusty snowball. Material from another solar system swinging through ours. Amazing in itself. No need for alien hypothesis. Invokes Carl Sagan standard. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Heartbeat signal an unusual trajectory, not extraordinary evidence. Not yet proof of alien manufacturer. Setai Institute technosignature research scientist. Uses Allen telescope array. Listens for radio signals distinct from natural cosmic noise. Nothing detected from 3I Atlas. No narrowband signals. No modulated patterns. No technosignatures. Silence. Exactly what you'd expect from natural comet. Possibly 7.6 billion years total. 3 billion years older than solar system. Spent eons in interstellar space. Cold, dark, unperturbed, pristine. Then gravitational interaction with galactic structure or passing star sends it toward our sun. Hyperbolic trajectory. One-time visit, no return. As it approaches inner solar system, solar heating activates volatiles. Carbon dioxide sublimates first, drives early activity. Closer to sun, water ice sublimates, more activity. Dust lifted, coma forms, tail develops. Jets emerge from rotating nucleus. Periodic brightness variations from rotation. Non-gravitational acceleration from outgassing. Cryovolcanic eruptions from metal-rich interior reacting with sublimating ices. Color changes from reflection to emission. All explained by cometary physics. No aliens required. NASA Webb. NASA TESS. NASA Swift. NASA Spherex. NASA Perseverance rover on Mars. NASA Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. NASA Maven. NASA Europa Clipper. NASA Lucy spacecraft. NASA Psyche spacecraft. NASA Parker Solar Probe. NASA Punch Mission. ESA SOHO. ESA ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter. ESA Mars Express. ESA JUICE. China's Tianwen-1 Mars Orbiter. All gathering data. All analyzing composition. All tracking trajectory. All studying activity. None report anything suggesting artificial origin. No structures, no propulsion, no signals, no technology. just comet behaving like comet. Vera C. Rubin Observatory, Zwicky Transient Facility, Atlas Network, dozens more. Amateur astronomers, citizen scientists, all collecting photometry, all refining orbit, all characterizing behavior. Consensus emerges. Natural comet. Only 3 known. Each one generates excitement, natural desire for life beyond Earth. Search for meaning, search for contact, understandable. But desire doesn't create evidence. Evidence creates conclusions. Evidence for 3. IATLAS points one direction. Natural. Spectrographs measuring. Photometers counting photons. Will comet show new surprises? Maybe. Will those surprises require alien explanation? Probably not. Every interstellar object teaches us something new. Oumuamua taught us interstellar asteroids exist, showed us tumbling motion, showed us non-gravitational acceleration without visible coma, still likely comet, just different kind. Borisov taught us interstellar comets can look remarkably similar to solar system comets. Carbon monoxide rich, fragmenting nucleus, normal behavior. 3I Atlas teaching us about diversity, metal-rich composition, cryovolcanic activity, long-term radiation exposure, chemistry of other star systems, formation conditions around other stars, planet-building processes elsewhere in galaxy. Not because it might be alien spacecraft, because it definitely is messenger from deep space, physical sample of another planetary system. Can't send probe there, too far, too long. But object comes to us, brings its chemistry, brings its structure, brings its story. Written in spectral lines, written in isotope ratios, written in mineral composition, written in orbital parameters. Story of birth around different star. Story of ejection into interstellar void. Story of millions of years drifting through galaxy. Story of chance encounter with our sun. Story of brief fiery display as solar radiation brings it temporarily back to life. Story of continued journey into darkness. Process messy. Objects get ejected, gravitational interactions, close encounters. Giant planets scatter smaller bodies. Some fall into star, some stay in system, some escape, travel through interstellar space. Galaxy filled with these wanderers. Estimates suggest trillions. Most never detected. Too small, too dark, too far. Occasionally one passes through inner solar system. We notice, we observe, we learn. Hyperbolic orbit takes it back to interstellar space, different direction than it arrived. Gravitational interaction with sun changes trajectory, not by much, but enough. We'll spend another few million years traveling, maybe encounters another star system eventually, maybe disturbs objects there, maybe sends new wanderers toward other systems. Cycle continues, galaxy churning, objects mixing, chemistry spreading. This is how galaxies evolve. This is how planetary systems influence each other, not through deliberate communication, through random gravitational interactions over deep time. Perfect spectral signatures matching carbonaceous material. Perfect rotation period causing brightness variations. Perfect outgassing rates causing measured acceleration. Perfect cryovolcanic activity from composition matching trans-Neptunian objects. Perfect everything. Or simpler explanation, it is natural comet. But science also needs evidence. Hypothesis without evidence is speculation. Speculation is fine, generates discussion, motivates new observations, but shouldn't be confused with conclusion. Conclusion requires evidence. Evidence for 3. IATLAS supports natural origin. Conclusion, natural comet from another star system. Confirmed by multiple independent measurements, explained by standard physics. Jets rotating into view and out of view. Brightness rising and falling. Periodic signal, but not biological pulse, not artificial signal. Mechanical rotation of irregular solid body with asymmetric surface features under solar heating. Carbonaceous chondrite-like material from another star system. Shows planet formation around other stars, can produce similar building blocks as our solar system. Chemistry not wildly different. Physics, universal. Cryovolcanism happening on interstellar body, same way it happens on solar system bodies. Ice sublimation, chemical reactions, energy release, focused jets, same processes, different location, different age, same universe. Carbon dioxide dominated versus water dominated composition tells us formation distance, beyond CO2 ice line, colder region, more distant from parent star than where most solar system comets formed, but not impossibly different, just colder. Pristine preservation of ancient material, 3 billion years older than solar system, older than Earth, older than planets, older than sun, formed around earlier generation star, that star long gone. But comet remains, frozen time capsule, carrying record of conditions in early galaxy before solar system existed. Conditions in protoplanetary disk around different star, billions of years ago, light years away. Alien tech angle makes great headlines. No hard evidence currently supports it. Overwhelming consensus clear. 3 I Atlas is natural though highly unusual interstellar comet. No technosignatures detected. Every anomaly has at least one plausible astrophysical explanation. Still only partway through brief visit. More data coming. December observations. January observations if it stays bright enough. Continued monitoring as it recedes. Watching activity fade. Watching jets shut down. Watching coma dissipate. Watching it return to frozen dormancy. Heading back into deep space. Carrying on. Another million years. Another star system maybe. Another encounter. Another brief awakening. Then silence again. This is 3I Atlas, not alien heartbeat, natural comet heart. Frozen heart billions of years old, briefly warmed by our sun's radiation, briefly alive with sublimating gases and erupting jets, briefly visible to our telescopes, briefly studied by our instruments, then gone. Back to darkness, back to cold, back to interstellar void. But leaving behind data, leaving behind measurements, leaving behind knowledge, leaving behind understanding. Mars orbiters captured critical observations, October 1st through 7th. ExoMars, Trace, Gas Orbiter, and Mars Express both watching. Closest approach October 3rd, 30 million kilometers from Mars. CAS's camera on TGO captures images, fuzzy white dot, coma visible, a few thousand kilometers across, first time planetary orbiter astrometry submitted to Minor Planet Center. Historic, improves orbital precision by factor of 10. ESA flight dynamics teams coordinate with science teams. Triangulation from Mars plus Earth gives better three-dimensional trajectory. Infrared observations. August 7th through 15th detect carbon dioxide plume, 300,000 kilometers wide. MAVEN's ultraviolet instrument reveals hydrogen atoms from water dissociation. All pieces of puzzle, all adding to understanding. Results show unusual negative polarization at small phase angles. This matches trans-Neptunian objects. Kuiper belt composition. Suggests similar formation environment, cold outer regions. Organic rich material, porous structure, major discovery. Interstellar comet composition matches outer solar system bodies. Implies universal planet formation processes, same physics everywhere, same chemistry everywhere, same outcomes around different stars. Dust mass loss rate between 0.3 and 4.2 kilograms per second, consistent with weakly active distant comets. Grain sizes, several micrometers. Large grains, less affected by radiation pressure, creates observed coma structure. Spectral gradient 18.3% per thousand angstroms, slightly redder than 1 I Oumuamua and 2 I Borisov, matches trans-Neptunian range. Organic materials, tholins. Radiation processing over billions of years. Metal-rich, but subsolar metallicity. Earlier generation star, possibly dead now. Comet wandering for ages, possibly 7.6 billion years total age, 3 billion years older than solar system. Ancient witness to early galaxy. Loeb suggested alien light sail. Natural explanations work better. 2 I Borisov looked like typical comet. Water dominated, visible tail, normal activity. Fragmentation observed. 3 I Atlas, different again, shows diversity. Not all interstellar comets identical. Range of outcomes from different star systems, different formation conditions, different compositions, same basic physics. Atlas improving. Pan-stars improving. Vera Rubin Observatory will revolutionize field. Expect multiple discoveries per year when operational. Maybe 10 per year, maybe more. Statistical understanding will grow. Population parameters constrained. Formation models tested. Ejection mechanisms quantified. 3 I Atlas provides template for future observations. Shows value of rapid response. Shows importance of multi-wavelength coordination. Professional and amateur collaboration. All contributing to knowledge. But leaving knowledge behind. Leaving proof that planet formation is universal, that comets everywhere follow same physics, that chemistry works the same around distant stars. Even when it erupts in ice volcanoes, even when it travels at impossible speeds through darkness, even when it arrives from galactic center direction, even when it's older than Earth, even when Harvard professor raises possibility of technology, even when headlines scream alien threat, even when social media explodes with speculation, even when timing seems suspicious, even when mystery surrounds it, sometimes the answer is simpler. Sometimes rock is rock, ice is ice, gas is gas, physics is physics, and comet is comet, remarkable comet, extraordinary comet, interstellar comet, but natural wonderful comet visiting from stars.